deadlift a jug of milk, folks. Now she can deadlift almost 250 pounds and comes away completely unscathed.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's cray-cray.
Like, I look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I came that far.
Yeah. And then you're bench pressing like around 125, 130, you know? Totally. I mean, it's some pretty impressive numbers.
That's almost my body weight. That's pretty crazy.
It is, yeah, especially for ladies with upper body strength tends to be a struggle. You know, some of these numbers are just really impressive from where you've come from. So now I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm really just, I mean, I'm commending you on working hard because, I mean, it must be, you know, for a while at least, it was probably kind of scary lifting those weights like you mentioned before with what, you know, after having dealt with such bad back pain for so long. Yeah,
it's definitely hard at first and scary with the weights and knowing that I could hurt my back, but I know like in time it was helping, and it obviously, look at it now, like it's helped.
Right.
And that's the mental health part of it that's also beneficial because, you know, you're talking yourself through it. You're telling yourself like, look, you can do this. And at first, like, it was hard. We were doing once a week, and now I'm with you once a week, and then I'm training once or twice by myself, depending on my schedule. So, like, that's pretty cool. The mental health part of it is the biggest factor, I feel like.
Yeah, you mentioned before, like, the boost in confidence that it's given you, and the trust in your body now as well. That's been really huge. And then overcoming maybe those fears, like the fear of hurting your back or the fear of the weight on the bar, you know, allows you to maybe, you know, gain more confidence in other aspects of life as well.
Totally.
And you're in the field of law enforcement, so I guess, I don't know, I keep calling it that, I'm not sure, I guess it's security, I don't know. Rent-a-cop.
I was going to say, a lot of people like to say rent-a-cop or mall cop, one of the two.
Mall cop, there we go.
Either works. I'm not quite in law enforcement, but I work directly with them. Like, I work at St. Michael's College, public safety, or security, however you want to say it. And they're based in Colchester, but we're right on the corner of Colchester, Winooski, Burlington, and Essex. So whatever happens on campus or around campus, I'm constantly with somebody. So it's pretty cool. Like, I'm pretty close to a lot of Essex, a lot of Colchester, and a lot of Winooski officers because they're like more like closer to the campus.
Right, yeah. So
anything that happens on Route 15 or like the Winooski side of things, like I'm right there, or even up in our North Campus, our fort, or so to say, that's bordered with Essex. So anything that happens up north, which does happen a lot, so we're right there directly with them. They call us a lot for be on the lookouts, BOLs. That could go for person or vehicles. I'm constantly yelling at students, telling them to stop their parties, which it sucks. I get it. I'm also, like, I do more. I lock buildings. I help students get into their buildings when they've forgotten their keys.
That's got to be the most exciting part of the job right there.
I don't know what's more frustrating, the fact that they lose their keys, or it's always the third or the fourth floor of a building. So, like, I'm constantly walking up and down the stairs, which is, that's fine. I'm getting my steps in, but it's just like, I don't know if the air is thinner up there, but, like, they always forget their keys. It's no doubt.
Fewer brain cells up in that higher altitude,
probably what it is. But, you know, and I also help out with, like, you know, students who aren't feeling good. Like, we're the first ones on scene. For a fire alarm, we're the first ones on scene. If anything happens with your cars on campus, you know, we're the first ones there. It's just, sometimes we're hated because we're breaking up a party, but then we're liked in other ways because, you know, we're helping them out at their worst and when they're not feeling well. So it goes around. As far as strength training in Oh, yes. Okay. As far as strength training in my job, some of my students, I hope they're not listening. There was one time I was going into a townhouse and, because they had called and they said, our refrigerator's not working. And I was like, oh no, like, okay, I'll be over in a minute. I don't want your food
This isn't
to
a
go
prank
bad.
call, is it?
No.
Is your refrigerator running, Keller?
Yeah, haha. So I go over there, and they're all, like, our townhouses house between 5 to 6 people, and this was a townhouse of 4, and they're all standing in the dining room, and they're staring at me, and of course, these are all, like, basketball students, so they're, like, 6-7 feet tall, and they're staring at this 4-foot woman who just walked into their townhouse with a vest on and everything, and
right.
They're like, yeah, my refrigerator's not working, so I'm like, okay, I'm looking around, I open it, yeah, it's definitely not on, it's not running, and I look behind it, and it's unplugged. And I look at them and I'm like, your refrigerator's unplugged. And they look at me like I had 6 heads. Like, well, how does that happen? So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I kid you not, they were all standing in the living room and they watched me move the refrigerator out of the way.
So this isn't just a mini fridge.
It was not a
this
mini
is a
fridge.
full-size fridge.
Full-size fridge in a townhouse that these students live in. And, of course, it's a boys' house, so their refrigerator was full of food and beer and all that jazz.
Of course.
And so, like, they watch me move the refrigerator, plug it back in, and move the refrigerator back. And they, not one, said, hey, can I help you? So, like, they just stood there and watched this 4-foot woman, like, move their full-on refrigerator. And they were like, all they said was, hey, thanks. And, oh, it was unplugged? So.
Oh, man. You can't make it up. You can't make the stuff. It's only on the college campuses, I assume. And so, yeah, you mentioned, like, the vest and, you know, getting a lot of steps in.
Yeah.
And I know your vest it has quite a bit of weight to it, so you have to carry a lot of gear. How heavy would you say that is?
So I've weighed it before, and it's probably 8 to 12 pounds, depending on who carries what on their vest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have a radio, we have a flashlight, most of us have 2 sets of handcuffs. We have our AC, or not our AC. We have our OC spray. We have keys to unlock every building on campus, and we just have like a bunch of stuff that we carry with us, and it can be 10 to 12 pounds at least. With my whole uniform, like my boots, my vest, my pants, and my shirt, I've weighed myself, and it's a good 18, 20 pounds more than what I weigh. So, like, we're carrying around 10 hours a shift.
Yeah. So it doesn't sound like maybe a whole lot, but over the course of 10 hours, that can really literally weigh on you for sure. And I know this was when you had first started this job, this was a bit of a concern for you.
Yep.
And we were already training. You were training with me at the time. So I was hoping that as time went on that it wouldn't be a problem, which now it doesn't seem to be, besides, you know, a little huffing and puffing up the stairs perhaps, you know, going up those.
That's the worst part. Otherwise, no, I mean, when I first started the job, you know, I still had a little bit of the back pain left. And with the vest, it made me so uncomfortable only because it put you in a certain, like, position where your shoulders are back. And just the weight of the vest and not being used to the weight of the vest for a while, by the end of, you know, the week of my 4-day week, I got, like, really sore, and I was still on the heating pad for a while. But, you know, I'm 3 years into that job now, so I don't have, every now and then I get a little bit of ache and pain, but I mean, like, not nearly as bad as what it used to be. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So you're able to go through these long shifts, sometimes through the night, oftentimes through the night, and not worry about back pain, but worry about the job.
Right.
And so sometimes this job seems like, you know, it has a lot of potential to maybe put you in some situations that might be kind of scary, uncomfortable, perhaps in a multitude of ways. Yeah. You know, do you find that you maybe are more confident in yourself to handle those sorts of situations than maybe you would have been before we started, or before the weight training and when the back pain was a big problem?
Right. I mean, it could go both ways. I mean, for the most part, yes, it's made me more confident and I can deal with things on campus. Or a lot of the students don't know that I weight lift, but I do tell them, I joke around with them all the time. I'm like, don't mess with a short redheaded woman. Like, you never know. And
you never know.
You never know. And you just, they laugh a lot. And I pretend to be more confident. Maybe I'm not so confident if something were to actually go down. But I like to joke about it in the moment, at least, and the students get a good laugh out of it, so that's good.
Yeah. Hey, at least it helps break the tension a little bit,
does.
Yeah.
It does. Of course, a lot of them, I don't know if it's just like the way I hold myself, or maybe I do actually sound more confident in it, but it's just like, I'll go up to a situation, especially, when we're telling them to break up their parties, like a male, like let's say you walk up to a party, like they're not going to listen to you. For some odd reason, that's just like the way parties are, that they'll look at you, and they'll be like, no way, I'm going to keep partying. And then they'll look at me and be, yes, ma'am, I'll stop. Or like I've yelled at students before to like turn down their music multiple times, but then when I like full force take the lung space and actually yell at them, they're like, oh my god, yeah, okay, I'm gonna shut it off right now. Like,
we got the authoritarian mom voice here. The authority.
And that seems to help. So it's kind of, I guess it's kind of funny and all my coworkers mess with me all the time as far as like, oh, your shoulders are getting more broad. Sometime you're not going to be able to go through the doorways, or like, or some other. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think about it, but they're always like, oh, your legs are so thick, and I'm always asking for bigger bigger duty pants, because they just don't fit me right, especially around the thighs, and they're like, stop weightlifting, I can't get you more clothes, you gotta stop asking for pants. And it's just, which is good. That also helps my confidence, as much as like it's a compliment. I work with men, so like I kind of have to be okay with that, and that's fine. Like I don't mind that type of
the banter back and forth and whatnot.
I don't care. I find it funny.
Let's take a quick break for a message from our sponsor. On Track Physical Therapy and Functional Training is a new gym, I guess not new, but a returning gym which come to the Essex area, and we have available to you physical therapy, one-on-one training, and small group training. We have assortment of programs that include strength training, cardiovascular endurance, and mobility. If you're looking to improve your health and look at exercise more as medicine and a tool to help you with your longevity, come check us out. We have a free week available for you to try everything out, risk-free, no commitment required. Check us out at ontrackhealth.net. Now, what do you have planned for the future? Do you have any goals as far as your fitness goes, or where you want to take that? Where do you think you're going with that?
I don't know. I've always thought about this. I mean, I was thinking like maybe more recently, like I'll just find a new coach because the one I've got is like super boring lately. No, I'm joking.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, thanks. She's always saying that in the middle of the session, and every time it takes a little piece of my heart with it.
One of these days I'm actually going to leave and you're going to be like, what the heck? No, I'm
going to sob in the corner. I'm going to sob in the corner.
No, it's pretty cool. I definitely want to stay here as long as possible and stick with it as much as possible. I mean, like, the benefits definitely outweigh the cons. I mean, I don't even know if there are any cons.
The boringness of the session.
There's definitely some sessions that, we do kind of the same thing a lot of the times, which is fine. Like, I like repetitive and the more I look at it, especially like I said with my stature and, you know, my thighs and my shoulders, like, it's clearly working somehow. It's just a matter of, like,